Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video, doing JMA Friday today, having a look at the weather for the coming month from the Japanese and CFS V2 models. It takes into the second half of June, so we're going into the first month of the summer with this update. And it could be interesting what both models are showing. We're in a very uncertain time at the moment. I've been talking about this in the videos recently. The patterns of next week are particularly complicated with blocking to the north and low pressure to the south. And quite what's going to happen for the bank holiday weekend, it has been very uncertain. We'll see what the longer range models think about it all in a second. Before I get on with that though, just to say about the ads, there's links to articles on all of the pages. Have a browse through the widgets and click through the links if there's any articles that you're interested in. Thanks so much for doing that. With video ads on most pages, they overlap the content. When you watch them, they close back up again, and it does help to pay for gasonvids.com. So we're going to start off with the 500 millibar heights from the JMA model, and then have a look at the CFS V2. These are broken down into weekly periods. We're looking at the UK from the North Pole down. So this is the top of the pole just here. This is the UK just here. Blue is extrapolating to low pressure, and yellow, orange, red, the more vibrant colours, extrapolate to high pressure. So for the coming week, this takes us from the 20th through to 27th of May. We've got this trough of low pressure out to west, and we're bringing the jet stream through the country, so it looks unsettled. There'll be bouts of rain coming through, showers in between. The flow is probably from a southwesterly direction though, or maybe a little bit southerly, so it shouldn't be cold, but it is quite unsettled. Week 2, which goes from the 27th of May through to the 3rd of June, looks like this. We have heights rising to the east and to the north and to the southeast as well. So the trough of low pressure being pushed out into mid-Atlantic, and that's sending the flow into that sort of direction, which means we're probably pulling up some quite warm air here for the start of June out of the south and the southwest. So temperatures looking quite reasonable, I think, as we're going through into the start of June. No sign of anything particularly cold, and that probably settles things down a bit as well as we get through to the very end of May and into the start of June. And then week 3 and week 4, this goes from the 3rd through to the 17th of June. It all looks a bit odd, but we've got the trough of low pressure in the Atlantic, and I think we're probably just bringing the westerlies through the country a bit like that. There's no sign of any particularly high pressure around, so I would think generally what's happening here is that the westerlies are returning. June is often the month where we see the westerlies coming back after you tend to get a lot of easterlies and blocked weather in May. I would suspect that's what's happening here. It's probably a transitional period, which is why it all looks a bit odd, but certainly by week 4 I would think we're back into more of a westerly type regime. Let's have a look at the mid-latitude view. That was the Northern Hemisphere view, as I say, looking down from the pole. This is mid-latitude view. British Isles is just here in the far top right-hand corner of the chart as you're looking at it. This is the North Pole here. You can't see the pole, but it's off the chart up there. This is the Northern Hemisphere. This is the tropical region, and this is the Southern Hemisphere. By the way, talking about the tropics and the Southern Hemisphere, we will have an extended look tomorrow at ENSO. That'll be tomorrow evening. I've done an extended video looking at quite a few interesting things in relation to what's going on in the equatorial part of the Pacific Ocean. Anyway, come back to the month ahead. We've got the mid-latitude view, as I say, from the JMA. So this is the 500 millibar heights. Well, these are the 500 millibar heights with this trough of low pressure in the Atlantic for the coming week, bringing the jet stream through rather like that. Remember, this is the 20th through to 27th of May. Temperatures are doing okay. For it looked like a very mild signal, that's what it's showing. Temperatures generally above average. Precipitation, though, is coming out above average as well. So temperatures are all right, but there's quite a bit of rain ahead for the coming week. Week 2 is like this. We've got the heights rising to the south, remember, and over to the east and even to the northeast as well. You'd expect this to be quite a warmish week, and that's what the model is showing. Temperatures again coming out above average from the 27th of May through to the 3rd of June in those cream colours. And the rainfall, that looks better as well. It's turning drier, so generally turning drier and warmer as we reach the end of May and go into the start of June. And then we go through into week 3 and week 4, which takes us from the 3rd to the 17th. And I thought it all looked a bit strange. I thought this one probably is the westerlies coming back. So you expect this probably to be a bit cooler and wetter. Let's see if that's backed up by what the model is showing. And in terms of a temperature anomaly for the week 3, week 4 period, generally still a little bit above average, so the overall signal is for temperatures to be okay for the next month. No sign of anything particularly cold coming up, but the rainfall does come back, so I think that backs up the idea that during week 3 and week 4, so going into the middle of June essentially, we find the westerlies returning. Remember, it's probably transitional, so week 3 could have quite a bit of dry, warmish weather. Week 4, that goes well into the middle part of June. That perhaps is the week that turns significantly more unsettled and cooler. Be interesting to see how that works out. Let's have a look at the CFS V2, see if that's backing up what the JMA is showing. So again, these are 500 millimeter heights broken down into week periods. The first weekly period going from the 20th through to 26th of May. We find we've got the ridging up to the north of the country and the trough underneath it to the south. So it is a complicated pattern for the coming week, but essentially it's quite unsettled with the jet stream coming in like that. Probably bringing fairly mild air, but quite a bit of rain, I would think, coming through with that one. Week 2, 27th through to the 2nd of June, 27th of May through to 7th of June, 2nd of June, shows the ridge up to the north. The trough again is down to the south, so again, quite a complicated scenario, but I think the trough is probably weakening a bit there, actually, and this ridge is probably more in control of the pattern there for the start of June, the very opening days of June. I would think that is fairly warm and possibly quite dry, especially for the northern part of the country. Week 3, which is the 3rd through to the 9th of June, again, a lot of ridging up to the north, so this is all a little bit different to what the JMA is showing, actually. The CFS going for a lot of blocking up to the north over top of the pole. It could be a very green pattern, but it's saved really by this ridge down to the southwest. So it's a very complicated pattern, this, but I think overall fair amount of dry weather probably there for the first week of June, and temperature's probably not too bad. And then quite a big flip around takes place for week 4, which is the 10th to the 16th. Remember, this is when the JMA hints that the westerlies could start to come back, and the CFS wants to suddenly place a trough right over top of the country and has blocking to the south of Greenland. So big change in the pattern there, but what's going on is that the jet stream goes like that. We go onto the cool side of the jet, and under this trough it would be significantly more unsettled going into the middle part of June. The temperature anomaly is looking like this. So the coming week actually coming out a little bit cooler than average, interestingly. The JMA wants this to be quite a mild week, but the CFS actually has it as a little bit cooler than average. Not a big deviation, but a little bit cooler than average there for the coming week. Week 2, 27th of May through 2nd of June, that one looks nearer normal with the temperature anomaly. Week 3 is looking like this, and that one goes warmer than average through the course of week 3. And then week 4, which is the 10th through to the 16th, that one goes a bit cooler than average. So it's up and down with the temperatures really, but week 1 and week 4 look a bit cooler, week 2 and week 3 tending to be a little bit warmer. Very much up and down though with those temperatures. So let's see how the precipitation is looking next with the CFS V2 finally, and this is the week 1 precipitation anomaly. So again, this is from the 20th through to 26th of May, the week that we are just starting. And if anything, we're probably going a little bit towards wetter than average. It's not a big deviation, it's close to average, but maybe, particularly for the north, slightly on the wetter side of average. Week 2, this from the 27th of May through the 2nd of June, this one looks significantly wetter than average. Very interesting, because the JMA indicates this to be a drier period from the 27th of May through to the start of June. And then week 3, this going from the 3rd through to the 9th of June, goes near normal. The signal is weakening. And then week 4, 10th through to 16th, and this is when it's placing that trough over the top of the country. That one goes wetter than average, as you would expect, with the trough being centred over the top of the UK. It's a bit of a mixed bag, this, and the JMA and the CFS are not really in agreement from quite an early period in terms of the broad 500 millibar height pattern. And I think it's all just indicative of the very uncertain and confused picture that we've got going on at the moment. And this is from as early as next week. So I wouldn't take this update of JMA Friday all that seriously, to be honest. I'm not sure either the shorter range models or the longer range models really have the next week to 10 days pinned down. And, of course, anything beyond that is going to be subject to change. If we take the two models together, they probably hint at some drier conditions, maybe high-pressure conditions, early in June. I think there is that idea between all of these models, differing exactly when that sets up, but sometime in the early part of June, probably a bit drier and warmer, and then middle part of June, probably looking more unsettled with the westerlies coming back, turning it cooler and wetter. But it's a very uncertain picture between these two models, and that's perhaps reaching a little bit to try and come up with an idea out of this update. I think the general broad thrust of this week's JMA Friday is a tremendous amount of uncertainty for the coming week. So wait and see how it all pans out. I've got to do weekend forecast tomorrow, as well as having that ENSO update in the evening. Weekend forecast is going to be quite a tricky one this week to pin down the details. So come back for that tomorrow. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.